Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Razak at CMTrading. Today is June 17th, 2015, and today's Wednesday. So we're in the middle of the week, middle of June, and we've got a chock full of economic news coming out today. So number one at 10:30 this morning, GBP claiming count. It's a rate decision. It's an interest rate decision that's coming out, and then several news that is coming out simultaneously afterwards. Then they're going to have the press conference at 10:30 as well. So that should move the GBP. We'll look at the GBP a little bit later on, and then we're going to do the CAD at 2:30 South African time. There's a number coming out of the wholesale numbers, and then at 8 p.m. South African time, major news coming out of the United States. It's a FOMC meeting plus interest rate decision, etc., etc., etc. So major information coming out from all these sectors. So let's look at the tape first. Let's look at the graphs, but just the major two to be aware of today is the GBP and USD. So if you do have positions in it, make sure that you're taking precautions as to, limit the amount of risk you're exposing yourself. But like we said before, you got to be in it to win it. So you should still be in it, and you should be still trading it. So looking at the Euro USD here, we pretty much flatlined, as you can see here, comparatively to what we've done in the past couple of weeks. This is the least volatile it's been. If you look at these two sessions right here, we went from 1160, 1170 to about 1290. So it hasn't really been very volatile over the past couple of days. It's been actually not volatile. If you look at it here, let's graph it exactly. Actually, we've been in the since last Friday, we've been somewhere between 1205 to about 13. So yeah, there was some moves. It's 100 pips. So there were some moves, but there was nothing really besides maybe this move right here. There's nothing that broke out from our extremities. Okay, so it's a little bit harder to trade when you're trading in such a range, even though the range is significant and you can scalp, but on a trending wise, it's not much of a trading range. So let's see what happens today with the Euro USD, with the USD number coming out today. If you do have a chance to trade the number, today's a major number to really trade. Looking at the GBP USD, we have broken a certain threshold, and we're right in the middle of it, just like the Euro USD in a sense. But I'd really like to see how this reacts today to both the US number and the GBP number, because I think that the GBP is correcting itself. We're going to find ourselves in the 163 level come this fall. But that's yet to be seen, and we need to prove that in the tape, and we need to see that. So with all said and done, let's look at this today and keep an eye if it's going to maintain that. If it's going to sell off and it maintains this 155 level, I would buy a lot of it. But if it breaks these two levels, okay, and then breaks further 153, then I would look to sell it. Okay, that would be my two trigger points in the GBP USD. And if we do rally to 157 and we don't break it on the high side, I would look to short it. But again, you have to tier in and tier out, like we spoke about in the last webinar, so that you're not overexposing yourself to every single trade. Dow Jones yesterday had a green day, up 70 points, really short covering, not really a major day for the Dow Jones, but you'll see that we're maybe going to close off this gap a little bit, okay, and it should affect the Dow Jones. Really does trade really well when the interest rate decision comes out, so I would really keep an eye on the Dow Jones also. If you're going to trade the news tonight, then I would look in the Dow Jones to trade out of all the symbols to trade. Looking at oil kind of sold off yesterday. Again, not a major move from 61, 62. Let's look at our daily chart. We're making even this, we're making another threshold at this 61 level. If you can see that in these two levels right here, 1, 2, 3. So there's like a sub resistance level. I would call it 61.12, 61.10, as you can see here. Is this a support level? Not really. But okay, it's been trading in the range. We know that it's been trading in the range. We're looking for the extremities to hit again before we see some sort of trend in the oil. Looking at gold, also been very, very quiet, as you can see here. Looking at a 4-hour chart, it hasn't really been trading amazingly, but there has been some moves. So looking at the time frame here from last week to this week, I didn't even realize we hit 1190, and now we sold off to 1176. So there are these sub-levels, these new sub-levels that are created, as you can see here. Let's highlight it just briefly. Let's do that right here. You see that's 1, that's 2, that's 3. And then for some reason these are becoming new resistance level. I mean, as we get a little bit tighter into a certain range, we're making these, these new support and resistance levels that are, on a longer time frame, insignificant. I mean, the major one is 1171 and 1183, but as you can see, we're, creating a new balance in it, and the credibility for it is a little bit less when it is the case, but you still have to be, you still have to realize that these new points are becoming a little bit more significant in the short term. So something to keep in mind, and that's trading the gold, and gold hasn't really been in play, honestly, over the past I would say month. Okay, it had a nice move to 1220, 1230-ish level right here, as you can see here on the top level, and then we sold off to 1170, and now we're just bouncing off a little bit. So nothing really major in the gold. This is Razak at CM Trading. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.